Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. My name is Shalanabattles. I am an indie author of soon-to-be 2 books, Soul Jumper, which came out in October of 2020, and The Man Before You, which is coming out February 12th. My plan for today is to talk a little bit about my first year as a self-published author, but I'm kind of cheating because I only self-published in October of 2020, so it hasn't even been an entire year. So I guess we should call this my first few months. What would that be? November, December, first 3 months as a self-published author? Goodness. So yeah, let's talk about that because I've learned a lot in a really short amount of time. I still have a ton to learn, but I want to talk about what I've learned so far, and hopefully it can help somebody. So one of the first things I want to talk about is evaluating why you're writing something. And I didn't know how important this was until I met with a book club a few weeks ago, and somebody asked me, if you write a sequel to Soul Jumper, is that because you love the characters? Like, is that why people write sequels? And that was the first time I'd ever really thought about it. I have a draft going for a sequel of Soul Jumper, but I never really sat down and thought about why would I do that? Why would I write a sequel? Is a sequel needed? Kind of thing. And so I think it's important as writers as you evaluate why you're doing what you're doing. Why are you writing the story that you're writing? Have a solid answer for that, because when I got questioned, it was the first time I really thought about it. And with Soul Jumper, the thing is, it's not a love of characters. I mean, I enjoy Celexa and I enjoy Kaitis and I had fun writing them, but for Soul Jumper, it was about the content. That's why I wrote the book. I struggled a lot and still struggle with unknown and this life after death and what happens. And Soul Jumper was my way to work through that, was my own way to come to terms with my own fears. And so a sequel for me would be about furthering that exploration and what it means to me to die. And it's fiction, so it's not like I believe what's in Soul Jumper verbatim, but it was a way for my brain to work through some of that. And that's also where a sequel would come from, where I'm exploring these other possibilities, these other ideas, kind of like therapy, I guess, in a way. But The Man Before You, that's probably the first time that I really fell in love with a character I've written. And I've written a lot of stories and have a lot of things going on writing-wise, but Jack and Eloise, for me, oh my gosh, I love those characters. I don't want to see the end to their story. And so when I started thinking about what can I do to continue with these two, because I'm not ready to say goodbye to them, I started thinking about ways to prolong their story. And so one of the things I did was introduce these side characters in The Man Before You that end up working for Eloise, and they form this really strong bond, very much like a family. And I plan to write a series on those characters. Jack and Eloise won't be the focal point, but there will be enough of them that I think it'll make my heart happy, and hopefully other people's, to check back in with them and see how they're doing and get these little glimpses into their life, because I do love those characters. So think about that when you're writing. I have a lot going on this next year with the books I want to publish, and I've really started thinking about, why am I writing this? What is my driving force? Why do I need to tell this story? Because it will improve your writing. And so I challenge you to look at what it is you're working on, and even if it's just for yourself, come up with Why? Why are you doing it? The thing that I want to talk about today is putting in the work. And it sounds silly, but you have to put the work in. Nobody's going to write these stories for you if that's what you're doing. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if it's writing. If you own a small business or are trying to own a small business, you're not just going to wake up one day and be where you want to be and be successful, your definition of successful. You have to put the work in. And so for me, it's all about scheduling. And I've even gotten more intense with scheduling to the point where I don't have my phone in here, but I've put on my phone calendar what I need to do each day. And I keep telling myself throughout the day, no excuses, no excuses, no excuses. And to me, that just means get it done. It doesn't matter that I have upteen animals to feed, that I need to spend time with my son. I've got to work that in and maximize, the time I'm giving to him, and housework and blah, 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 long list of things. Some of you are working other jobs. And so for me, that's just what that means. No excuses, get it done. If it's post a video, record a video, I'm supposed to write a blog post that day. And I was not this hard on myself last year, but I also didn't get where I wanted to get from October to December. And so this year, I'm really pushing myself to stay on a schedule, just as if I was working a full-time job for somebody else, and get it done. And I want to be able to look back in December and say, all of that was worth it. I gave it 100% and see the results from that. And that applies to anything in your life. You're not going to get anywhere if you're not putting in the work. And so let me know down below what it is that you struggle with in terms of getting it done. Where do you need to tell yourself no excuses? Is it, something like exercising, eating right? Is it writing? If you're here for writing stuff, those are my people. Where in your life do you need to start telling yourself no excuses? I'm doing this. Let me know in the comments. Hey, another thing I wanted to mention in my first kind of few months of publishing here, and especially for the new people that are just starting this journey, keep track of your money. It's a not as exciting topic as characters and character development, but keep track of it. I was all over the place these last 3 months with everything. And so I have a business bank account. I can obviously check those statements, but not everything when you're first starting out is coming in and out of that account, because you just don't have the money to do it. You're funding it yourself from personal accounts or whatever the case may be, and you have to keep track of all that stuff. You have to keep track of receipts, and it seems like a no-brainer, but when you start doing things, it's very easy to lose track. It's easy to forget the money you spent on a cover designer, or, how many times did you pay an editor or beta readers if you're paying them. If you bought stickers or pens or bookmarks or whatever, all that stuff costs you money. A book trailer. And if you don't write everything down or have some way to track it digitally or whatever, you're gonna miss things, and it's harder than to sit down and say, did I actually make a profit? Did I get money back, essentially, after buying all these things to market and publish this book? And so this next year, I'm focusing really hard on keeping a notebook, a handwritten notebook, so I have that paper copy, digital copies. I've always kept receipts, so that's not too big of an issue. But keeping more meticulous records, and you can log on to Amazon and see your reports, look at those, be familiar with them, know how to read them, what they mean, all of that stuff. And so just take that part of it seriously, especially the new people, because it's a lot when you first get started to keep track of. And thank you again for supporting me on this journey. Like I always say, love yourself, believe in yourself, and I hope that this week brings you everything that you want it to. Have an amazing Wednesday. I will see you guys on Saturday.